In this video, we're going to look at how we can shade regions using complex numbers and loci. Okay, so in the first example, it says on separate arcane diagram, shade the region represented by, and the first one is modulus of z minus 4 minus 2i is less than or equal to 2. So as I always do, I'm going to rewrite the first one here as in the form that I would prefer. So z minus brackets 4 plus 2i. Modulus is less than or equal to 2. So that's a circle, center 4, 2. So I'm just going to very quickly draw my axes. There's my real axes, there's my imaginary axes. And I'm going to mark on my center, which was 4, 2. So 4 along and 2 up. So there we are, 4, 2. And the radius is 2, so that means it will touch the horizontal axis. Dear me, but you can see that works, and that's it. So I've done a solid circle, and the reason it's a solid circle, it's less than or equal to 2. That means points on the boundary of the circle are allowed. So if it had been less than 2, it means points on the boundary would not be allowed, and I would have done a dash circle, and that's it. Okay, that's the first one. Second one is modulus of z minus 4 is less than or equal to z minus 6. So for this one, part 2, modulus of z minus 4 is less than modulus of z minus 6. So if we just do what it would be if this had been an equal sign instead of an inequality, so what would this have looked like? This would have been the perpendicular bisector of 4, 0 and the point 6, 0. So we'll just do your imaginary axes, do your real axes, and we're going to mark on those 2 points. So 4 and 6, there they are. So 1 point which is definitely in between them is 5. So and any point that's going to be on that line is going to be fine. So this should be a dashed line here, and it's dashed because it's less than as opposed to less than or equal to. So it's dashed line, and this is my line x equals, not x equals 5 at all, x equals 4, sorry, it's x equals 5 is my line, halfway between 4 and 6, so x equals 5. Okay, now we're going to look at the inequality. It says the distance from z to 4 is smaller than the distance from z to 6. That means we are closer to this 4 than we are to the 6. So we have to shade everything on the left-hand side of this line all the way up to the line, and that's going to be it. So that's your solution for this one. Okay, for part 3 it said 0 with the shade the locus of points. So 0 is less than or equal to arg of bracket z minus 2i is less than or equal to pi over 4. So again, I've just rewritten that as inside the bracket z minus brackets 2 plus 2i. So I know if I draw my axes out, my real axes and my imaginary axes, I can mark on the point 2, 2, which is going to be very roughly, it's going to be here. So that's my point 2, 2. And what argument of z minus 2 plus 2i equals pi over 4 would be a half line representing a half line going all the way up from here. And that's your pi over 4. So that's what that would represent if it was an equal sign. But now we have to think of the equality and what it means. So I want the argument to be all the way from 0 up to pi over 4. So that basically means the gradient is from 0 up to 45 degrees or pi over 4. So it's this thing, I'm allowed this line. So this is actually going to be a solid line because I'm allowed it. And we shade everything in between as well. So that's really what this thing should be. So it's shaded, what we've done here, we've shaded everything in between as well, and that's it. Right, so we've done part A, and we had to say this was our circle, this was our perpendicular bisector, and this was our half line. And it says, hence on the same arcane diagram, shade the region which satisfies Z. So what this means Z belongs to the complex set of complex numbers such that, and this was our circle, so the distance from the circle with center 4, 2 has a radius 2 and it's inside of that, so that was this bit. and then this is our z belongs to a set of complex numbers such that, and this was our perpendicular bisector, so this was this one here, so the left hand side of your line x equals 5, and our last one was the half line, so this was this one here. So all three of these things have got to be combined. So I've just written that out again, and I've changed my circle one to be z minus 4 plus 2i. So that was my circle, which had center 4, 2. And I've drawn all of these things on without the shading. We also had our perpendicular bisector. Remember that equated to x equals x. The left hand side of x equals 5, and then this was our half line between here. So this was this wee shape in here. So we have three things. We have to combine all three of these from up above. So it was inside the circle, it was the left hand side of the vertical line x equals 5, and it was within this thing. So you've got to do all three of those. So what you're left with is just this bit. And sorry, I've just marked on a few points here as well. 4 was where we touched the axes. We had a point 6. This was your point 5. The radius was 2. So 4, 2 was our center. The radius was 2, so we started out here, and this was where our point started. And as well, if the gradient is 45 degrees or pi over 2, so the gradient is 1, I should say. So the angle is pi over 4, I should say. So the gradient is 1. So that means as I step across 2 to get to here, I'll step across 2. So if this is 4, 2, I go 2 up from it, will get me 4, 4. So my line crosses my circle at the point 4, 4. And then you're just left to shade inside the circle to the left of this line and also between these two lines. So you're left with just this bit in here is what needs shaded. So that's really what you've got inside the circle. So it's a fairly difficult question. There's a lot to it, but that's what you end up with. Okay, this example says sketch a locus of z such that modulus of z minus 3 is equal to 2 upon the modulus of z minus 1 plus I. Right, you can read through this in your own time. I'm going to jump to this question, and the easiest way to do it is to go back, get it back into Cartesian form, and then sketch it from there. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so we've got modulus of z minus 3 is equal to 2 upon modulus of z minus 1 plus I. Remember, z is equal to x plus iy. So we're going to rewrite this thing as going to be the modulus, and it's going to be x minus 3 plus iy is equal to 2 times the modulus of x minus 1. That's the real part. Oh, I don't know quite. I'm getting ahead of myself here, squaring things, but I don't need to square. Let's score that out. Plus, and then it's going to be y plus 1. So there's my imaginary parts for this one. Okay, now we can do the modulus of this. We actually work that out. So it's going to be the square root of x minus 3 all squared plus y squared is equal to, and it's going to be 2 times the square root of x minus 1 all squared plus y plus 1 all squared. Okay, really it's just a bit of algebra work from here on in. So we're going to square both sides first of all to just give you x minus 3 all squared plus y squared is equal to 4 upon, and that's going to be x minus 1 squared plus y plus 1 all squared, and then we're just going to go from here. So squaring that x minus 3 squared, you're going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus y squared is equal to 4 upon, and that's going to be x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus y squared plus 2y plus 1. And then we're just going to multiply out the bracket on the right hand side. So I haven't done anything with my left hand side. On the right hand side, we'll actually tidy up before we multiply the bracket. You'll have x squared minus 2x plus y squared plus 2y plus 2. And then x squared minus 6x minus 9 plus y squared is equal to, that's going to be 4x squared minus 8x plus 4y squared plus 8y plus 8. And still going on this, we still have to tidy up. Bring it all to one side, put it equal to 0. You're going to have 0 is equal to, it's going to be 3x squared plus 3y squared, and then it's going to be minus 2x and plus 8y minus 1. That's what you've got. Okay, we're almost ready to find out what my center and radius of this thing are, but remember your equation of your circle is x squared plus y squared plus blah blah blah, so you've got to divide through by 3 to get it down to that form. So 0 is equal to x squared plus y squared minus 2 over 3x plus 8 over 3y minus 1/3. So here my 2g is equal to minus 2 over 3. My 2f is equal to 8 over 3, and my c is equal to minus 1/3. So g itself is equal to minus 1/3, f is equal to 4 over 3, and c is equal to minus 1/3. So we're good to go. Our center, remember, of a circle, center is equal to minus g minus f. So in this case, that's going to be equal to 1/3, then minus 4 over 3, and your radius is going to be equal to, it's the square root of g squared plus f squared minus c, and if you do that out, you will get root of 20 over 3, root of 20 over 3, which is going to be the same as, it's going to be the same as 2 root 5 over 3. So you've got your Cartesian equation. You then have to sketch the thing. So it's a circle. It has center 1/3 minus 4 over 3, and we'll just mark your x-axis and your y-axis. Then it's going to be like this, and that's it. Okay, the last example in your notes is really, it's not mentioned explicitly on the new syllabus, but I just left it on here. I'm not going to go through it. It's quite a wordy thing. It's not mentioned. You just need to understand the result. So have a wee look, read through your notes. The result is this. If you have arc of z minus a over z minus b is equal to lambda we have here, it's an arc of a circle subtended from the points a and b. So here I'm just going to do one wee example. So if you, for example, if you had an arc of, we'll have z minus I over z minus 4 is equal to, and we'll just go pi over 4 again. To do this, to draw this thing out, mark on where z minus I would be here. That's 1 on your vertical axis, and then you've got 4, z minus 4 is going to be here, and just do this thing out like so. So do this one quite steep, and then this one shallower to meet it, and it's the arc, if you can imagine the arc that goes round to meet them both. So, and that would be pi over 4. So that's all you need to know and understand from this. I've explained where it all comes from in your notes, but that's all you need to know. Okay, your last couple of exercises then. You have Edexcel book, exercise 2F, questions 1, A, C, E, and G, and then questions 2 to 6. And then you've got the mixed exercise 2 as extra if needed.